Hey everybody, this is Trey with Hernandez Media, and I'm so excited to welcome you to our new episode of Industry Influencers. I have Amber and Jason, although it's really Amber and Jason, I don't know. But they are super professional experts in what they do. They used to be real estate agents, and now they are real estate agent mentors who have several programs and have a whole list of agents under their belt that they have been able to empower and equip with starting their own businesses. So, guys, welcome to the show. And
thanks for having us.
Hey, so tell me a little bit about your experience in that transition.
Well, first, we are still realtors,
Okay.
but we transitioned. I wouldn't say it was on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, one of those natural things.
You know, it's kind of just a door that God opened where we worked hard to be successful at selling real estate.
Okay.
And as some of our models and systems were working, people started asking us to speak and kind of teach people some of the models and systems that we were doing. And as we began to do that, more and more doors opened up where people was like, can you help me? Can you help me? And then it got to be so many requests that clearly, you know, God was speaking. Some people might say the universe was talking to you, and the opportunity came available. And in order to service all those clients, we end up going full time doing that. We do still have our real estate license, but you're right, we refer out that business so that we can help our clientele. I know for me, that was kind of my experience. His might be a tiny bit different.
No, I think it was relatively the same. You have you start off in a field, and for me, it wasn't necessarily about the numbers. Like, you had the numbers, you had the business, and you were booming. For me, it was all about understanding this world of internet marketing that was just hitting our industry. I got in late 2009. So, you know, Facebook, Twitter, those were just mysterious things that people were starting to talk about. And so I wanted to know to help my business. Yeah. And what ended up happening is, because my love of technology kind of really, I just got compelled to just learn as much as I could, again, to think that this was gonna help my real estate career. But then it was all about people finding out, hey, you understand this Facebook thing? I'm like, well, yeah. Can you teach me? Can you help me? And thinking back, it wasn't can you teach me to do it? It was, can you help me with it? And I've always had the belief that if you know something, then it should be our obligation to kind of help someone who doesn't know that thing. And so, like my queen was saying, it evolved to this kind of teaching and speaking kind of transition that wasn't something that we looked out for. It was something like, how can I help more people? I remember vividly sitting in a class to where I had a question. I was told, well, just Google it or you figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is a horrible answer. So
Google it.
I kind of just Google it. And so when I started, you know, having opportunities to speak and to teach and to help people, I never wanted someone else to have that feeling that I had. So it was always about, how do I break this down to where anyone can get it, not just someone at a certain level. And that's kind of where it sprang, and just kind of moving forward with it. And I think you bring up such a great point that it wasn't something you sought after, but there were so many people needing help, that how can I help more people more effectively without working nonstop 24/7, because then there's nothing left for you or the people that you love.
So while the transition was not necessarily intentional, everything since then, since taking that plunge, is definitely intentional. We failed a lot. But we've also learned the right way to do things as we failed, and moved into intention to build the company the way it is now.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think it's awesome that because y'all were excelling in your field, people wanted to have the same experience or similar experience. And by nature, you said that it just kind of happened that way. You know, where you position yourself in a place where you were just available to help people within their walk, within their real estate journey. Like, sure, I can help teach you some stuff. I can empower you. And then that kind of became a business from that.
Yeah. And really, we were paying it forward too. I mean, a lot of people helped us.
Oh yeah.
You know, I took some of the top coaching programs in the nation, and without that knowledge, I wouldn't have been able to be what I was, because I didn't really invent the stuff that I was trying. So really, it's kind of paying it forward in a certain aspect.
I agree with that. Someone asked me something that maybe I didn't know the answer to. My job was to go out and try to find it, or I felt that it was my job. Let me go out and find out for you. And then in that, I would discover like 4 or 5 different things while trying to figure out that answer for people, which just helped me help other people. So it was very, very cool.
Win-win.
Win-win. Win-win for everybody,
Yeah,
it seems
exactly.
like.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I know that there's a lot of different things that y'all teach now, whether it's through your mentorship or through your programs. And one thing that y'all just recently started is your Sphere Influencer program, isn't that right?
Oh, yeah.
That's been in the works for a while.
Yeah.
So kind of tell me a little bit about what that means and what that looks like.
Oh, I love the story. Tell the origin story.
Bring it on.
Really, I think we were getting so many calls into our office with people wanting to get more business, get more leads. And while that's a pretty common thing, all of us are looking for more ways to lead generate. What was so interesting is a pattern started developing over a 2 to 3 year period where we would start doing a consultation with somebody and they're wanting to maybe learn how to do Facebook ad campaigns to get more leads. And we would say, great, we can help you with that, but let's back up. Before we do that, once those leads come in, how are you currently marketing to your, what we call sphere of influence, or your current customers, your past clients, the people who already know you? What does that system look like? Because as you get new leads from whatever avenue you're trying to get them from, eventually we want to sift them down to that area. So we want to make sure that's not broken before we add more marketing. And what was so interesting, whether it was a new agent or a top agent, and this really applies to all businesses, and we've been guilty ourselves, I think we've all made mistakes, is maybe we put them on a set it and forget it type email campaign, but we're not really providing value on a regular basis to our clients or to our past clients. Instead, we keep going after a new one and a new one and a new one. And so as we kind of broke it down, every level seemed to have holes. And to us, in any kind of marketing, that was like pouring water into a pitcher with holes in it. And so we really decided to take a step back and say, let's go back to the foundation of providing the best service, the most value to your current customers, to the people who have helped you in the past, because they all know at least 100 people themselves. So what are we doing to communicate with them that's on a personal level? And then just taking it to that next level using the latest in technology, because if we're relying on some of our previous tactics of communicating with people, it just wasn't working anymore. People aren't answering their phones, and having a relationship with somebody is it has to change based on how people's communication styles have changed. So we just thought, how can we provide value but use the latest in technology to do so and communicate with that database?
Yeah, it's this hole that started to emerge, that the more we were trying to help people with one thing, it was becoming very apparent that there was this missing element and a lot of realtors could benefit from. And so it was just that, in that, for me, because I'm the data guy and I'm the research guy, I was like, well, how many other people are figuring this out? So let's go find out. So we went and researched, what are some of the most common things that people are seeing in realtors in their business? What are realtors saying? What is their frustration? So we blasted out the survey that went out to 27,000 realtors going, hey, what's that perfect sphere marketing system? What do you get most frustrated about? Doing it as a marketer, it was called a basic ask campaign, but for us, it was just trying to figure out, hey, how can we help these agents fill this void? And kind of that's how the program came about. And in our, like I said, I always found a couple things while trying to find that main thing. In looking at someone's business and should I get the new leads, and I want to know about Facebook ads, but wait, let me back up and figure out how can I market to my core people that kind of sustain my business. We looked at what's working and what's not. And it was surprising that there are things that are being taught to realtors to market themselves that originated in the 1930s and the 1950s. And and there's companies out there.
Probably for all businesses.
Well, sure,
I was just saying, that kind of expands to all businesses, but there are companies out there that are counting on that, let me sell you on something that hasn't worked since then, but we're going to assume it works now. And none of the data was matching up, which is the marketing data that's effective in today versus the tactics that people or realtors are being sold to. And we're like, well, man, there's a disconnect here. You feel almost woken up, like, man, this is not right. Awoke.
So in a sense, that kind of fell in our lap too. Not the clients were there, but this product, just people needing it, and we thought, oh, we need to help. So, and I think what you said was powerful for any business listening is, you already have people you're attracting. You already have a talent that was God-given. Do an ask campaign. Find out what your ideal client, what's their biggest struggles, and what talent do you have that can solve that.
That's cool. Well, I definitely think that, and I haven't gone through your program, but I've known just from relationship with you guys and working on the past, that having that relational mindset and just boosting the people that are in your sphere and really strengthening that core does so much. And I think this leads me to my next point, is that one of the things that y'all talk about is how riches or niches lead to riches, right? And it kind of goes in pair with that, right? Because I mean, you can't be, one of the things y'all say, you can't be all things to all people.
Right.
Right. So kind of explain a little bit about your philosophy with that and how you kind of see this in your sphere. I mean, unless I already explained it so much.
No,
I mean,
that was
You did
perfect.
so
I did such a
good.
great job.
Clearly, we got this down.
Yeah, so
no.
the phrase that we always picked up was broad is broke, niche is rich.
Okay.
You know,
That's the
however you want
key
to say
phrase.
it. There's like
But it's the
17
same
different
thing.
ways
Yeah.
to say it. The same thing. The bottom line is that if you are trying to talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody. And that's in our industry, in real estate. A lot of, and even I made this mistake, where I'm going to market to buyers and sellers. Well, you talk differently to buyers than you do sellers, so why is your marketing convoluted? And when you start to blanket, I mean, I vividly remember saying, you know, put as many cities on your website as possible. I'm like, I don't want to go to Fort Worth. No, it doesn't matter. You're going to get a lead. I'm like, but no, I don't want to go there. Nothing wrong with Fort Worth. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's
Far from our
not.
house.
It's very far from my house. So this concept of what if I just talk to this clientele, my ideal clientele. So whenever we talk about niche marketing, it's got to be about my ideal client. Those two kind of have to go hand in hand.
And I think I for myself as a marketer had a huge fear in choosing a niche or niche, however you want to say it. And I think a lot of businesses do. One of my favorite examples of this is and I have no affiliation with this place. It's just a great example that taught me a lesson.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
There is a hair salon in Frisco, Texas that really specializes in cutting naturally curly-headed people.
Okay.
And you can imagine when somebody opens a salon, it might be pretty intimidating to say, oh no, we're not going to advertise to anybody but people with curly hair. I might have initially panicked as an investor and said, but what about the people with straight hair? We're just going to turn them away. That's
Right.
money.
What about wavy hair?
You know,
Discount?
and
How's that
I'm
work?
sure they're not turning people away, but they're not advertising to any of them. Everything revolves around curly hair. But if you stop to think about it, so many of us, including me, would have had that initial fear. Well, I need all the business, including straight hair, curly hair, whatever. But actually, if you think about it, you are in what we call as marketers, a bloody ocean when you're advertising to everyone. And we say that because it's
like UK friends.
yeah,
right?
sorry. It's like it's a shark-infested waters already when you're marketing with the same message that everyone else is marketing. Whereas when you really niche down who your ideal client is, you think about it, that Frisco, there's probably a hair salon every block or two in Frisco. And if they would have stayed the same marketing as everyone else, how long would it have taken them to get a foothold in that market? Whereas they're the only ones, I Googled it, I tried.
Yeah.
They're the only ones marketing themselves as to the niche of curly hair. Now there might be other salons doing it, but they're the only ones marketing that way.
Wow.
So of course I called them. You know?
Yeah.
And my daughter has naturally curly hair. And this salon has a wait list, and it's like $300 for a haircut.
What?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Let that
Make
sink
it
in
bank,
right there.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I thought. And I'm thinking, you see how brilliant this is. He went from a red ocean to a blue ocean, even though they're both hairdressers, all by the way he chose to market and choose his ideal client.
That's
So it's
fantastic.
good stuff for any business, really.
Yeah, I know, and that's why, especially that's why I wanted to bring on the show today, is because I brag about you guys all the time because y'all have such fantastic, Mr. Rook, right?
So sweet.
Y'all have such fantastic business philosophies that I've learned just by being around you guys and have applied to my business with making sure that we take care of relationships and start to narrow focus versus being all things to all people. Like
That's
these are
awesome.
things that we need to learn and apply regardless of your industry.
love it.
And I think the biggest challenge is this runs so counterintuitive to what the masses are learning.
Yeah.
You know, and I to be a student of marketing, to be a student of, you know, relationship building, will lead to sales. I was like, well, you know, if you study sales, I've been in sales my entire life. It was only up until, you know, recently that because the environment shifted. It was, I remember I've got, for the folks at home listening, I've got about 300 different Facebook business pages because back in the day, it mattered. I could use them for SEO, I could rank in Google just like that. And that broadcasting your message just over and over again was amazing to do. it's not that way anymore. It is about the one-on-one, or or to have the perception of it being a one-to-one. Still looking at automated systems, and so I want to just be clear that we're not saying that don't learn the latest and greatest. It's learn it, but if you don't have the home figured out yet, the foundation, then you can go out there. Yeah. But man, it takes so much less effort to convert leads that you already got versus try to find someone who doesn't know you. Because then I got to sell my value, and then I got to and get them over here.
So how do I use that video? How do I use social media? How do I use that Instagram post to bring value to my ideal client versus, so yes, using the latest in technology, but using it to provide value instead of waking up saying, I really need to sell 4 homes today. It's who are the 4 people I can help today? Who are the 4 people I can bring value to?
That's true. Well, we're running a little short on time, so really quick.
A lot of editing is going to have to happen here.
No, it's all good. I just want to be respectful for everyone's time. So, really quick, what are like three different things that y'all want to share with our audience today? Like, hey, if you go today, these are the 3 things that you should take away.
Takeaways. Okay.
Your takeaways.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What are your 3 takeaways?
All right. Because they all grabbed a pencil or something to write with.
I know. I was like, gotta take
here
notes.
Are the 3 things you're at. Okay, yeah, ready. You said something.
It's hard to narrow it down to 3. It might be 4 to 5, but it's like have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Have a business plan.
Yeah. Okay.
And inside the business plan, like we talked about, really hone in on who is your ideal client. And then if you're looking to grow your business, which I believe we all are, start producing content for that ideal client. What are the challenges they have that you can help to provide value in? And then really it's about having models and systems around that.
Yeah, models and systems, process and accountability. I always like giving away the takeaways. Please don't try to figure this out yourself. There is someone out there who's doing what you want to do at a much higher level. Model after them.
Yeah.
Don't see them as competition. See them as a mentor, as someone that you can learn from. And then once you're doing what they're doing because they're successful, so you'll probably be successful, then I can modify it and make it sound like me or whatever. So.
And then lastly, I'd say you need accountability from somebody you can trust. Because if we were enough to fulfill our God-given mission, we would have already done it. So I feel like we all need a little push when we get overwhelmed. And lastly, I think it's important, and sounds kind of cheesy, but it's a good one, is to believe in yourself. Because as an entrepreneur, a business owner, there's so many times where you're going to question what you're doing. You're going to be pumped up one day, and the next day you want to you want to cry.
Stay in bed today, please.
So, get accountability, but believe in yourself because you started it for a reason.
Yeah.
God's given you a talent. There's a reason you're doing it. Keep going.
That's awesome.
So you said you're gonna get 3, and you got like 6.
I know, right?
Lots of
whole sheet
editing.
of paper.
I can't wait. I gotta.
That's too funny. Well, real quick, we want to thank our sponsor. Thank you so much, Trey Group, for providing the space for us to film. If you're interested in having branding, display services for your business, if you're doing if you're showcasing your business on the go, make sure to check out their Carrollton location and they have some good stuff. So.
Yeah, gorgeous stuff.
Yeah,
seriously.
Thanks for having us.
But yeah, thank you guys for being on the show today.
Appreciate
Definitely
it.
a lot of great stuff, and hopefully, where can they get in contact with you? That's important.
It's important, right?
Yeah.
Just go to influentialagent.com, or you can find us on any of your favorite social medias.
Sweet.
But thank you guys for being on the show today. Make sure to like and subscribe because we got a new industry influencer every week. So Bill Wallace will be joining us next week. So stay tuned. But take care, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.